Hello everyone. Let's welcome again to the interview series. So in this series we will try to cover one of the well-known company that is a Williams tag. So that is known also the Williams Lee tag. So this company is basically London-based organization which is started into the 1820. So that company is very old and very good roadmap also. So I will try to cover here what is type of question they are asking and what type of things you need to tell into this one. So let's start the session. So here we will try to cover is the OOPS along with the C Sharp, MVC, .NET Core, Entity Framework, Web API and the WCF, SQL Server and the MongoDB. OOPS and the C Sharp side, they ask about the abstraction with the example. So abstraction there you need to give the definition like here we need to hide the necessary information or the show the only the required information to the end user. So that is the abstraction, and here you can put the example of the refrigerator. So because the refrigerator we are aware like we are putting the item inside that one, we don't know like how it is be cooling and all. So the machine is taken care of this thing, so that information is not required as a end user. Coming on to this one, overload and the overriding. So these are the two type of the polymorphism. So you need to mention the overload you can achieve within the single class the same number of method but different number of parameter, and it is not depend on to the return type. Overriding is basically you have the base class and the drive class, and the base class you need to declare a method with the virtual keyword, and when you are overriding into the drive class you need to use the override keyword. Hash, so hash is also the important concept here because it is just like similar to the dictionary, but hash is also the key value pair and it is defined under the system.collection. And yeah, so these things you can mention here. The next one is the extension method. Extension method means to extend something into the existing functionality or the existing class. So that is the extension method. So for this one, there is a two condition. The first one in the class should be the static, and the first parameter of that static method itself is the this keyword. So and adds a IntelliSense into Visual Studio, you will see the arrow down symbol. So that is representing the extension method. The other one is the what is a DI. So DI is basically a dependency injection. So you need to explain like what type of like how we are achieving the DI and what is the DI here. The other one is a factory pattern with the practical example. The factory pattern, you know that we have the more focus on the creational based pattern, like how to create the object and all. So these are come under the uh, creational based pattern. So here I putting the example of like logging things. So because we in the application we have the three type of log, because I did this practically, so I mentioned the same thing like application log, error logs and the email logs. So for this type of problems or this type of things I can achieve through the factory pattern, because based on the object I can know like which type of log I'm going to save into the DB. So I will definitely making some of the videos so you can also put the same example there, because it's a very straightforward. Coming on to the MVC side. So in the MVC side, what is the MVC? So there you need to explain the what is the M means V and the controller. Model is basically to exchange the information between the view and the controller. View is basically to represent the things onto the UI, and controller is where you are writing your logic. The other one is the how routing works. So routing is basically whenever any requests are coming, so there is a routing manager taken care the responsibility. So like in the routing manager there is a some mapping table with the which have the controller and the corresponding method. So whatever the requests are coming through the end user, so it will check into the routing dictionary. So there based on that it will invoke that particular controller and the particular method. So you need to mention these things. The other one is a list in MVC, how to do the download the PDF on the click of the download button. So basically there is the one list you are populating onto the UI, and in the UI there is a each list having the download button. So how you can give the download functionality? So you know that we have the action different type of action result. There is a file is also one of the action result. So there you know that there onto the click of this one we will post the file name there, and we know that that is always we will add the absolute part and at the code level, and from there we will write or we can download through the file action. Return type in the action result. So action result having the more than 10 types. So you can mention whatever you know that, like partial view, action result, or file result, JSON result. So you can mention. Other one is the .NET Core. The .NET Core side, how service can access in controller. So the you know that in the .NET Core we have the DI, the dependency injection is inbuilt. We are getting this feature into the .NET Core. So there's a three way to achieve this one. The first one is the singleton, the second one is a transient, and the third one is a scope. So there we are defining our interface along with the class, and after that we can, through the controller level constructor, we can access our service. The other one is how do I work in the .NET Core. So I mentioned like there's a three way to achieve this one: singleton, transient, and the scoped one. So you need to mention that concept here. All the three type I already mentioned. The other one is the entity framework. So the entity framework side, like they asked me about how many approach we have. So we have the three type of approach into the entity framework: code first, model first, and the database first. So I used their database and the code first approach. So I mentioned this one, and after that I put it the database and the code first approach, because in the database we have the some of the legacy application, their all DB is already prepared. So in that case we want to use the entity framework. So in that case we have the we can use the database approach, database first approach, because it's already so many things already done. And code first approach, we don't have any of the database and we are writing from the scratch. So then we will go to the code first approach, and we have the more control based on our code. We can create the database and create the relationship key, foreign key, primary key, and all. The next one is the web API and the WCF. So the first one is the difference. You need to mention like it is working onto the HTTP protocol only, web API, and WCF is working onto the so many protocol like HTTP, HTTPS, TCP. So you can mention these things. And the security wise also, like if the more concern on the security, like WCF is always the more preferable as compared to the web API, because any of the sensitive application we are always giving the preference to the WCF. Although web API is also secure, but with the help of so many strategy like token based authentication also, we are making this web API also, but for the general purpose we are giving the more preference to the WCF. The other one is which one is better. The better wise, if you performance wise, if we are talking about, the web API is a much more performance, and it is very simple and simple to create. And whatever the type we are returning, maybe the XML or the JSON, so it's a human readable. So basically onto the API side we are focused onto the JSON side as a one of the format. And WCF is also the security wise it's good, but it is taking more bandwidth as compared to the web API. So if you see into the journal life, whatever the tab or mobile we are using, so there we are using the web API. So because that is always taking the very less bandwidth. The other one is how to make class as behavior of web API. So you know that any of the concrete class we can make it the API based. So for this one we have the API controller abstract class. We need to inherit that one, so that will give the behavior of the API, web API. The other one is how to handle the exception. So there are many way to handle the exception. So basically we are using the try catch and things here, but yeah. So for this one what you can do is you can mention the we have the HTTP response message. There we can put the response like bad, not found, and all. The other one is request dot create error response, so that we can also put it there. I will definitely make some of the video on top of that, so it will give the more information. The other one is SQL and the MongoDB. So the first one is for complete query, which one is the best approach. So any of the query which we are writing, so what is the best approach to writing the thing. So I put it here like if we are writing any of the complex query, so we need to give the preference to the view, because view is not not taking is on memory, because it's taking always the reference memory of the query, because query is always taking the memory. The other one is a user defined function in the store procedure. So you can aware about the store procedure can call the function inside store proc, but you can't do the vice versa. And the function always return the single value, but store proc return the value as much as you want. And the other thing is like store procedure you can execute uh, again and again, but compile at one time. So many things you can put it here, and the syntax wise also you can tell, like the writing way is totally different for both the things. The other one is performance point in SQL Server. So whenever whoever asks any of the performance point in the SQL Server side, so first you need to jump onto the table, and there you need to mention the indexing, cluster index and non-cluster index. You need to mention there, and you need to take a look there, because SQL Server itself have the tuning software, inbuilt tuning software. So there you can check the performance also, and that itself is all creating or suggesting some of the performance points. So you need to implement that one. The other one is the main difference between SQL and the MongoDB. So we know that SQL and the MongoDB is SQL is a structural based query language, and the MongoDB is a NoSQL, and you can say is a documentation based. So MongoDB is basically the key value pair. So whenever you are creating any of the new column, so it will not create any of the problem. Like for example, in the one data we have the first name and the last name, but for the second data I have the first name, last name and the address. So in that case it will carry the both the record, and it will not give any of the problem, because you can add the runtime any of the column there. But if you are doing the same thing into the SQL, so it will create the problem. So select syntax. So I written the select syntax for the MongoDB. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening this video. I hope you like this session. I will try to make more video onto this one. So I will make good knowledge to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for